morning, everybody, or good afternoon. It's Attempts at Governance, episode 289, and we are back to attempt governance once more. I think we're almost there, getting the hang of it, or all the wheels are coming off. Let's find out today. We're going to start with, actually, we're gonna throw it to Florentina for a look at refs gone by to start, as I do State of the Treasury. Go ahead, Florentina. Thanks a lot.
Okay, so refs gone by for last week. We have a medium spender, 1790. This was to ratify referendum 1768 from chaotic. There was an error after the asset hub migration. So this one was, just to make it pass again, 180,000 USDC. However, I saw a tweet from Polk Assembly a few days ago saying that there was another bug with the asset hub migration and that they might have to resubmit, but then the fellowship would be able to rectify it. So I have my doubts about what will happen with that.
Okay.
Okay, next we have Wish for Change 1781, preserve dot treasury from burn, and this one passed with 93.1% aye. So no more burning. And then we have Small Spender 1800, funding for reactive dot and related developments. So this is TN's second version of the proposal after putting the milestones and discussion with the Web3 Foundation. So this is 3 milestones of 8,250 USDC each, and this passed with 100% aye and 168 million dot.
Yes, very nice. Thanks for that, Florentina, and congratulations to TN for getting this proposal through there. On this Treasury burn proposal here, I think we will still have one more burn, which is happening in 2 or 3 days, and that's going to be $100,000 so totally burned. And Tommy, we are doing open dev next Tuesday, and you know what? We got to put these guys' feet to the fire and check with all these wish for changes which have not been fulfilled. We are wishers, right? And we want them granted. We should check on that. I would say.
Yeah, we can. I mean, the answer always was it's a wish for change, right? So this is, and everyone in the fellowship is free to pick their agenda. But yeah, I think in the end, the treasurer is paying the fellowship. Of course, they have their own mandate, which is to maintain knowledge about the Polkadot protocol.
That's true, yeah.
But I think in the end, we should keep those conversations open. The only one where I'm really unhappy is optimistic project funding, because it had very widespread support within the community. And then whenever I was talking with fellows, they were very skeptical about it. And I don't know, whatever I said, even in the personal conversations, it never moved them to reconsider.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, we'll definitely check out that on Tuesday. Still doing State of the Treasury. We're going to throw it to Funk for the State of the Funk. Let it be a long one, Funk. I got to do some math.
Well, thanks so much, Jay. The State of the Funk is admittedly thrilled after just coming off the Blockchain Association Policy Summit, which happens once a year. This is an incredible opportunity. I actually get to meet Paul, who is one of the new legal barristers that was hired by Web3 Foundation. He was in attendance because Web3 Foundation is a member of the Blockchain Association. This is across 2 days in Washington, D.C.
Hello.
And, very different vibe, because last year it was right after the election. Everybody felt all sort of the promise and hype of what was coming legislatively. We continued to dig into that with some incredible talks across, both senators, legislators, House members. And so this was really you don't get a better opportunity to network with legislators at the US federal level, and then also hear what they have planned. So it looks like market clarity and the market structure bill with the Clarity Act is going to hopefully get passed in the spring. This is going to provide a lot of structure for our entire industry. So, with the US continuing to want to be the crypto capital of the world, it's always one of my favorite events of the year. And so people, regardless of where you are in this industry, should be very excited and thrilled, just as I am. Hopefully that gave you enough time, Jay. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Funky. You know what? I actually have an amazing excuse. The treasury totals are not loading on the dashboard I use. So we'll keep trying to load that throughout the show. State of the Treasury could be coming at any minute. But thank you very much, Funky, and very cool work that you're doing there. What's the next step in this journey? for you?
We're probably, because this is on my side work with Ardent, where we're doing the blockchain education stuff.
Yep.
And so we do a lot of networking at this event, and we're probably going to have another fly-in. So one of the things that I think is really powerful about the Blockchain Association is they have a fly-in program. So members of the Web3 Foundation, for instance, if they wanted to engage legislators at the federal level, you can just tell them, hey, we're coming to DC. You know, if you give them a couple weeks notice, they will arrange meetings with legislators, both in the House and the Senate. And so you get to speak on behalf of the industry, talk about what, you know, kind of causes for concern you may have about what's happening in the current legislation, hopefully win over their, you know, their minds in terms of just trying to shape that legislation. There was a big thing of FUD that came out right after, where there was like 192 nonprofit groups that were telling the Senate, like, don't pass any crypto legislation. You know, we still have our fair share of fudders about this industry. And so, you know, that's an important aspect of the work, and hopefully Web3 Foundation, which already has a long track record of working with the regulatory institutions like the SEC, starting all the way back in 2018, they could continue to do that good work, not only working with regulators, but also the legislators themselves. So it's a powerful organization to belong to. It's the biggest trade organization in the world when it comes to blockchain. And the data was also very interesting at the very first day, because they showed that basically 1 in 5 people in the United States now owns digital assets. And so as a voting cohort in the US, we really do have the ability to kind of move the needle for all crypto holders here in the States.
Very cool. All right. Thanks very much, Funky. Hey, want to say welcome to James and Limo as well for joining the show. And everybody in the chat, I want to say hello. Nice active chat today. Maury, how's it going, man? Ian T. Gilbert, he says the Interlake and Sugi pair chains are due to finish over the next week or so after having their chains extended for a little while. He still has 0.18K BTC on Kintsugi protocol. Any hope? I don't know, Funky, you know kind of what's going on over there, don't you? Or not so much anymore?
We actually still provide RPC services
Yeah.
for Interlay, because I think we're the only ones besides Kintsugi Labs, which is the actual Labs Foundation piece that belongs to Interlay and Kintsugi.
Okay.
I did not know that the chain was going to run out of core time. That's news to me. And I know we no longer provide vaults. We used to be the preferred vault provider for Interlay. And I think we were one of the smaller vault providers on Kintsugi when they first started. But yeah, that's again news to me, and I'll definitely something I'll highlight internally for our guys as well.
Okay, maybe a misunderstanding here, but thanks for checking that out. Limo in Paradise.
Hey, sorry, maybe I hope my microphone's okay.
Yeah, it's good.
I haven't checked Kusama car availability in a while, but if there's any cars, they're probably like 10 cents. So if anyone is worried about Kintsugi not producing blocks, you should probably just like have bought a car for it and then just decide it. Like it's frictionless, anybody can do it. Some companies in the ecosystem with extra cars that could probably assign one to Kintsugi if needed as well, if you ask the right people.
Yeah, very nice. Ian, I hope your 0.1849 KBTC can be saved there. That would be very painful. But yeah, we'll look into that. Hey, to TikTok ticks as well. Energy Web EWT into house. Really exciting stuff happening with Energy Web lately. And Daniel and C. Kieran, welcome to the show. We're going to start with a special treat. We have some merchandise to show off here. Victor is going to give us a little tour of a really handy piece of hardware that could be yours at a Polkadot event soon. Victor, why don't you take it away?
Yeah. Thank you, Jay. So yeah, I would like to mention that we managed to secure a deal between Polkadot and OneKey, the hardware wallet manufacturer, and we managed to get 100 piece of device from about this product. It's Polkadot branded and really cool. I love it.
Very cool.
So we can see that the product is OneKey Pro, and the actual device is also Polkadot branded. It's working. It's charged. The box contains some the recovery sheet paper, as well as the charging cables and some user manuals, and of course the device. It has a fingerprint scanner, which is really cool, and also the device is colorful, so it's not just black and white. It's really cool. Yeah, and we will distribute some of the devices at selected Polkadot events in collaboration with the Event Bounty in the coming year, and basically that's all. So yeah, we managed that, and I think it's pretty cool, and we are very happy to make this deal happen.
So, and just to be clear, if anybody is hosting an event supported by the event's bounty, they can contact you guys. You'll send these to wherever in the world that event is happening, and then they can be given out at an event?
I think people need to reach out to Event Bounty.
To Events Bounty, okay.
Yeah.
Pretty sick. One key hardware wallets.
Exactly.
Okay, Victor, thanks a lot for that. Very cool. All right,
Thank you.
nice. We're gonna get to some ref presentations. We have a couple today, and we have Juan and Tony back. We had you guys on the show last week or a few weeks ago to discuss the work that you did with Ideal Labs, and you mentioned that you ended up doing a little bit more work than anticipated. So you're here for a bit of a top up, 38,760 USDC. This is on the small spender track, and currently struggling a bit, 23.3% in favor, but almost 24 million DOT votes against. Maybe we can get a little bit more info today. Guys, welcome back to the show.
Hey,
Hello,
Jay.
guys.
Hey, everyone. Nice to be here. So yeah, this will kind of be a lessons learned discussion that we want to share with the community.
Okay.
We've seen the feedback and criticism that we've seen, and like we definitely see like it's valid, and we kind of understand. So I would argue it's not necessarily it is a top up, but it's more so a kind of a best effort that we tried to do. So to kind of put this all into context for everybody, this is the Ideal Network, the verifiable randomness infrastructure for Polkadot. So with our retroactive proposal, there were a few things that we discovered, mostly security related, that we didn't account for in the original proposal. And we've now realized when we initially proposed our ref, we tried to really tightly scope everything. So we said like, okay, we're going to set aside this many hours for this type of task.
Sure.
We didn't give ourselves any space for saying, oh, if something goes wrong, or if the security audit does find something, we have time to fix it. And so we didn't account for any unknowns or potential for work outside of the scope. So that's definitely on us. It's an issue with our the planning. We gave ourselves zero wiggle room. Kind of saying like this is boom, boom, boom. We're gonna knock it out like a factory. But then, well, XCM documentation is a little obscure, and things don't always work out as expected. So overran a little bit. So we don't necessarily feel like we're entitled to a payment or anything. But it's more so like this was our best effort. We did this extra work, and if the community like to support this, we are incredibly grateful. But it doesn't impact like the fragility of the project or anything. Like we're still going to go live with or without it. Like it doesn't impact our future roadmap at all. So it's more so just hey, this is what we did. We produced this extra work, and if you want to support us, we would be incredibly appreciative. But we also understand like we didn't really necessarily follow the Web3 Foundation new guidelines weren't out by the time we produced it, but we didn't come to the community in advance. We didn't say, hey, we discovered these things we didn't know about. So we kind of learned our lessons, and it's our first time really navigating this process. So lessons learned. That's for sure. So
fair enough. Juan, you want to say anything?
Yeah, I think what Tony says is very important. That answered some concerns, some questions that we had in the proposal. We already answered them, but I think because it was a concern that we saw in more than one comment. We wanted to share it here. Another common thing that was asked was about traction. So people were worried about traction. Definitely, the market has changed since last year when we started working on this.
Oh yeah.
We focus everything on XCM delivery to other parachains. And as part of our original roadmap, we were the second step of this project would be to bridge to EVM chains. So we have switched a little bit that second phase, and we will still bridge to EVM chains, but we will also support EVM Solidity contracts on our chain. So align a little bit with Polkadot Hub and with the vision of creating products on Polkadot. I think it will be easier to build products on a smart contract. And I think we want to encourage that. And we hope we will be generating more traction and attract more transactions with that. We are now in conversation with a group of people to see if we can collaborate to onboard our first project. If it works, it's going to be a big one. It's an important project. We cannot discuss more about that now, but if we can make it public, we surely will share it with you guys as soon as possible. I don't know, Tony, if you want to add anything else.
Beautiful cat. What's its name?
This is Jennifer Tilley.
Jennifer.
I think that mostly covers pretty much what we wanted to say. The feedback we received, like we completely get it. No hard feelings. Like we don't feel entitled to this payment. It's kind of a support is nice, but not the projects won't be more fragile without it. And I think Juan did a great job of summarizing the initial direction was to market this as a product for parachains, but we realized that's a very limited group of customers or clients to begin with. Whereas general developers on smart contracts is more likely to, as there are thousands of more clients, so definitely a larger audience. And yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up.
Okay, well, thanks very much, guys. This is still 2 weeks left of this proposal, so if you would like to show some appreciation for this work for these guys, throw them an eye. But otherwise, thanks for building that out for everybody, and looking forward to seeing it in production somewhere. Sometime.
Yeah, will happen very soon. I don't know, guys, if you have any questions.
All right. Sounds good. All right, guys, thanks very much.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Moving on. This was an interesting ref, kind of came out of nowhere. This is ref 1809, and it's posted by Saxenberg on the Treasurer track following a trend of closures. This one is to close Bounty 62, which is the Polkadot legal bounty. And yes, we have Ra on the show from Amfork. Ra, thank you for the memes and the good times online. But also thanks for the legal work so far. What's happening here? Because I just saw that you folks posted this big update on the legal bounty, and then Saxenberg is here saying that there hasn't been any communication or something. I'm a little confused myself. Maybe you can clear this up for us today.
Yeah, like you said, we basically very recently posted the first larger update on what's currently the status is that we did some work with some crypto foundations setting those up. We are working together with the PCF, trying to smooth that whole process, making it a bit more cost efficient also, which has been a problem sometimes with the PCF, that even minor things cost a lot. We want to improve that. We're talking to Autonomous, or going to talk to Autonomous. And there's various other updates that you can all read in our forum post. Now, in the response to Saxenberg, I mean, there was a discussion up for some time before that ref, so we were not completely surprised, but we were still a little bit taken aback because we thought we gave a nice update. And also, like this, honestly, the legal bounty has been, I personally think, very cost efficient for the ecosystem so far. And another thing which I would like to mention, which we just went live with, was the legal wiki. This is sort of like a library of things where you can just go as a founder, as an ecosystem participant, info about various topics, basically, whether it's setting up a company, whether it's some general legal topics. But you can also find some stuff that's just generally useful, templates, for example, for an NDA. If you need something like this, there's 2 versions. There's a one-way, there's a mutual one. So I would encourage everyone to check it out. The process to getting into the legal wiki, because we want this to be for Polkadot and not just for anyone, right? Because usually you have to pay for these templates if you want to buy them. So you have to be onboarded via the Discord route. And if once you are onboarded there, you can log in with your Discord account, and we will give you access to all the stuff that's in the legal wiki. Yeah, and maybe a last comment on the Discord, because this is also something that came up quite a bit. Why did you choose Discord? Discord isn't great. Discord has these and these issues. Yes, we're aware, but there's a trade-off that we had to consider, right? Either you go full code, you code a fresh platform, very nice, full UI, it costs $50,000 with all the testing and making sure everything is nice. With Discord, we could set it up at a really, really low cost. I don't know how much it was. I mean, it's like a $30 subscription per month, and a little bit of development work, which we didn't even charge yet. But so overall, this is a very efficient way to do it. And if there's like any troubles with signups that any of you guys in here are listening to the AAG run into it, or in general in Polkadot, just reach out to us. We're very happy to help to get over these onboarding steps. Basically, what you need to do is you need to agree to the terms, and then if you have an actual legal issue, you will have to accept like a mandate agreement. And the reason for that is that once you sign, it's just a click on Discord, and this mandate agreement, everything that comes afterwards can be privileged communication, which is obviously necessary if you're consulting on sometimes very sensitive topics. You don't want these things to get out. So that's why we set it up this way, and why this is actually, in our point of view, quite a good way to set it all up. But yeah, if there are any questions around, very happy to answer them.
So you can find all this information in the ref here, ref 1809. Mfork has a response here. It's the first reply. At the very bottom is the link to the Discord, and also a link to your update that was posted about a month ago, almost 4 weeks ago.
Exactly.
Okay, great. Thanks very much. Anybody have any questions about this? Yeah, Florentina.
Hi, Ra. Sorry, I just clicked on the link for the Discord on your expired. I think the Discord links, they only last a few days. So maybe if you could post an updated one, or one of those that don't expire, would be really nice.
Oh, that's great to know. Actually, I will check it immediately after this call, and we'll update this. Thanks.
Yeah, that's true. One of the quirks of Discord is you can make an unlimited one, but most of them expire after a week. Thanks for that,
Yeah.
Florentina. Anything else? I mean, have you made any contact with Saxenberg since they posted this, or?
We were in contact before, so when they posted the original discussion post, we of course wanted to know why this is coming up now.
Here, I'm going to throw it on the screen. This is what Saxenberg posted just 12 days ago. Okay. So yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think it's mostly a difference in opinion on actually how, because the work has been going on for quite a while, but nothing has been invoiced yet. So the bounty currently doesn't have any child bounties yet. This will happen very soon. And I think Saxenberg would have preferred to have seen like smaller chunks being invoiced along the way. Okay. And this is something that we can certainly do going forward, to say, okay, each month we do like a tally up of all the hours and then do it this way. This would be a small thing to change. We're certainly open to that.
Sorry, I just want to make a correction to something I said. They actually posted this discussion at the end of September, and then you did respond here almost immediately after, but I suppose communications stopped after that.
Yeah, mostly.
Okay.
Because I mean, we said what we had to say, and if there's like any further questions beyond what Saxonberg would like to know, we're always here to answer.
Well, as it stands right now, not a lot of action on the ref. 16 accounts voting right now. Less than 25,000 DOT in play, so I'm curious to see how this goes. Who posted the decision deposit for this? Was it? Let's see.
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the decision deposit is only 1,000 DOT on the treasurer track. Oh, that's surprising. Okay. All right. Anything else for Ra here? Thanks for coming on the show. Fear with legal bounty activities too much?
No, mostly not me. Johnny, who was on the show before.
Yes, right. Okay, we'll get that Discord link updated, and we'll check in on this next week. Thanks a lot for coming on, Ra.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a very, very exciting segment to get to right now. This is the State of the Treasury, which is actually a very interesting State of the Treasury this week, and I'll tell you why in just a sec. It's not because DOT is at $2, because we are up 140,000 DOT this week, which is worth 2,840,000-ish US dollars at today's plummeting market value. And that brings the DOT stack to 25.91 million DOT. But we are down a lot. We're down 1.4 million USDT to 5.98 and down 1.41 million USDC to 2.8 million. And that is because of the Polkadot People initiative, which cleared last week. And so that those stablecoins are being DCA'd into Hauler, and that Hauler is going to be stored on the People chain. So I suppose that those numbers are going to come back into the dashboard here as they get DCA'd. But that's the state of the treasury on the Polkadot accounts. And then over on Kusama, we're up 9,530 KSM, which is worth about $74-ish thousand, bringing that stack to 665,530-ish KSM. That's the state of the treasury. All right, we're going to move on now to some refs on the go. A few interesting things happening this week, starting with a mystery ref that was just put on the root track by an account with some sort of star PFP on Subsquare. 1501. This is on the root track, and the call is system set code. Not sure what that's all about. And then just by chance, I was digging around bounties this morning for a segment we're going to talk about in a second, and saw that this same account also opened, this account right here, opened or tried to open bounty 72, which is titled Bybit. And then there's a comment that says Telegram bot owner or Polkadot, maybe it's supposed to be on Polkadot, may immediate resolve a bounty for animate citizen cause Polkadot have high value asset liabilities for its delay. Owner claiming own asset, not others. I don't know what the heck this is. Limo in paradise. What do you have here?
Yeah, this came up last night. So I was like looking at the account. He had a lot of like extrinsics at one point, like
Okay.
privileged ones. So he's like fucking around, I guess. And then yeah, randomly, like you said, made this bounty and then the system set code for some reason. So maybe someone just messing around and they don't really know what they're doing. Then the bounty one's weird that you would call it Bybit and then write that.
Yeah.
Because the rest of it just looks like it's someone seeing what extrinsics work and what don't, right? Is what his account looks like.
Yeah, this bounty was set up. I mean, the bounty's not functional, but it was set up 21 days ago, and then with this very mysterious comment 13 days ago, so a week later. And then this root track here. No idea what's going on with 1501. We'd love to have you on the show. No identity set or anything like this, but yeah, very strange.
No, there is an identity. You can find the guy's Twitter account and stuff if you like follow it through.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
why not? Follow it through. Oh, here it is. Animate citizen. Okay, we're going. Let's see how we do this. Bingo. Copy paste situation. Animate citizen. Here he is, CEO or project director, starting large business. No followers quite yet, but following 480 people. Doesn't seem to follow the goose. From Dhaka. Oh, let's see. Oh, that's all we know. From Mr. Emmanuel Chowdhury. No idea. No idea. Limo, did you have something else to say?
No, I can't lower my hand on my phone for some reason. But I don't think this guy's malicious. I think he's just fucking around, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like with the amount of exchanges he's testing out, right?
I mean, even if he was malicious, I don't think he could get very far on the root track here. Tommy, what do you think?
I believe set code is to change the runtime code of Polkadot, right?
Right.
So, okay, I mean, maybe not malicious, still an attack on the network.
Right.
I mean, it's definitely a vote nay. Like you're an idiot
Yeah.
if you don't vote nay on it. But I don't think this guy knows what he was doing to begin with. Doesn't seem like the most sophisticated attack, right?
Decision deposit on the root track is what?
I was just thinking the same.
It's 100k dot at the moment. I think.
100k dot.
Oh, no, it's a more.
I mean,
No, I think it's 100k.
prices are coming down. Could be attainable.
Nope. Yeah.
Okay. 100k dot. All right. Well, anyway, that's a funny mystery. Funny things happening on OpenGov, and we'll get to a few more as well as we roll through. But closing the marketing bounty by the Web3 Foundation, this is nearing confirmation, just in 2.5 days now. Still 100% support of that. Closing the Polkadot Pioneers bounty, OTAR on this one. Web3 Foundation hasn't stepped in on this vote here, but still 100% support. And this is going to enter confirmation in under a week. And then closing the games bounty. This is fresh, posted by the Web3 Foundation governance team. This was done at the request of the curators. And we did have a post-mortem post did by them in the forum about a month or two ago. And I guess they're expecting a final report from the curators here. But this seems to be a little bit of housekeeping. This will return 34,000 DOT back to the Polkadot treasury. And like we spoke about last week, a few applications to become registrars, one by Eco RE and another by Open Square. Both of those 100% support. And then Polk Assembly's back. They posted one mid last week or late last week and then said vote nay. And here they are back again, 147.2 thousand USDT. This vote wasn't going so well on the last one. People like Saxenberg were saying maybe the features that they built out here are not worth the retroactive payments. We'll have to see what the comments are like on this one, 147.2 thousand USDT. I'm very curious about how these retroactive payments go and how they vibe with the Web3 Foundation guidelines. I really don't know how this is going to go from here.
I think they have not said anything about it, but I assume it will be more along the lines of, it seems they're, I mean, we will see, but I guess they have just published criteria on what they want to vote. So I think it's more on the value of the proposal rather than at what point in time it comes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt about that. Just a quick, we have someone who's upset in the comments here. Dakota, through people who invested money in Invarch, waited for the project for 3 years, project participants, and blocked for the truth. Yeah, I mean, it's an unfortunate situation when we have startups that go under in the ecosystem, but just my point of view, it's to be expected, I would say. We're kind of building on the edge here. And yeah, there's a lot of high risk situations here. Of course, sorry for anybody who got burned with their own decisions, with their own money. But yeah, sorry about that. Maybe we'll keep the raging out of the comments on AAG here because we are trying to focus on attempting governance over here. So, speaking of retroactive payments, this is the Mimir proposal, 138.39 thousand USDT. We had them on the show, or Tiny on the show a few weeks ago. A lot of support for this, actually. 13.72 million on the I side. People who are actively trying to manage multi-sig funds in the network seem to really like this product. So that's yeah, lots of approval here on the panel for that. So that's great. And I did see, speaking of multi-sigs, that the Pappy team has picked up maintenance of the Multi-X product or the Multix product, which I was happy to see. That's kind of still my habit, sending Multix links. So I was happy to see that. But Mimir retroactive payment here is doing well, 99.4% support, a third of the way through the decision period. On the medium spender track, we have the Ink Alliance Polka VM Rust smart contracts on Polkadot Hub. Now, we saw since the last show, I believe, the Web3 Foundation came out against this proposal. 151.88 million DOT on the nay side. This likely because this is a lump sum payment, 362.5 thousand USDC up front. Saw down a little bit, upset on the timeline about this. I mean, fair enough. As a communication tool, a big nay vote it isn't the most kindest way to reach out and reach a deal, but it is effective, I suppose. I'm not sure if there are communications to find a way forward for this, but I did see on X, the Inkling account, posting that 53% of submissions in the Polkadot Builder Party, or from the Polkadot Builder Party winners, actually used Ink over Solidity. So 47% using Solidity, 53% using Ink. And then a really interesting comment here from Chris Anatalio. I bet 100% of the Ink submissions are original IPN projects, and a non-zero amount of the Solidity projects were reheated copy pasta from previous hackathons. That was a really interesting point. Tommy, congratulations on the success of the Polkadot Builder Party. I saw the live stream on the Polkadot account showing off the winners. I don't know, maybe you want to take a moment to give us a little overview of the successes over there and maybe some of your favorite winners. Very successful party.
Yeah, sure. So Polkadot Builder Party, it went over 6 weeks of a hackathon. We had 2,700 participants that registered.
Wow.
230 submissions. So in the end, I was very happy that I'm not on the judging team and have to go for 240 submissions.
Yeah.
It was 50 plus events from the Roots Initiative. So the Road to Sub-Zero with 2,000 attendees. So overall, I think it was a really good campaign. It coincided with a lot of the Polkadot 2.0 features launching at that point in time.
Yes.
So that was really nice. Our favorite projects. We saw a few yesterday in the live stream, so you can watch them. I want to highlight some other ones that I saw that were in the also winners, like the small prizes. So there was one for what's the English word? Royalties for music creators. So it's sort of like, let's say, Web3 Spotify, where you listen to the music of someone, and if you like their music, you can send them a small tip on chain. So that one is one that I really liked. And then another one was like a Patreon-like subscription model. So I really think everything that has to do with creator economy could really be my personal favorites. And then there was a lot of great winners also that we had in the call yesterday.
Very cool. Florentina, what do you think about this?
No, it's great. It's great to have people coming up with new ideas, and it's good that there were so many submissions for the hackathon. I actually wanted to comment on the proposal for Ink.
Okay.
If possible.
Sure, go ahead.
Break the mood, but
yep.
So I was just just looking at the feedback of the Web3 Foundation. I couldn't help but notice that they were asking, for example, to get confirmation from the technical fellowship or relevant parity teams that the scope, timelines, and architecture align with the broader strategy.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's interesting because although we have seen in previous proposals sometimes, like for example, with the Mountain Miracle Belt, that we did have some people come from the technical fellowship or from the Bridges team come and show their support. It's interesting that the Web3 Foundation would ask for it. I saw that Pierre on the forum had mentioned that they were analyzing whether they thought it could be interesting or not. But I guess they are kind of still stuck, the Ink team, even after all these 3 versions and everything.
Web3 Foundation, their comment here, strongly encouraging milestone-based payouts and looking for explicit buy-in from core technical stakeholders. For example, written confirmation from technical fellowship or relevant parity teams. If these points are addressed in a resubmission, we'd be happy to revisit our opinion. All right, very good. Tommy, you threw.
Yeah, just one thought. So I don't think the technical fellowship has a lot of smart contract experience.
Right.
So that it wouldn't be on them to answer this. I think that Parity is ramping up their staff that is actually able to build smart contracts or has some experience. So if, then it would come from them. But yeah, I would reach out to people that have a lot of experience working with smart contracts first. I couldn't point the finger out to the relevant party, but you want to get people with the relevant experience in the domain.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, all right. Well, shoot, we'll have to check in on that again next week. We still have 16 days left in this decision period. I think this one is as good as dead, but we'll have to see if a resubmit is on the horizon with something that can satisfy the Web3 Foundation. Hey, before we leave, because I wanted to string this into the success of the Polkadot Builders Party, Tommy, I saw this morning you posted a very nice thread about, well, just saying that you're open to new challenges here. It's a nice thread pointing out all the great work you've done across the ecosystem in the many years. Your contract with Web3 Foundation is coming to an end. And so Tommy and Ankles open for business. Want to give you a chance to say anything here, if you would find it helpful.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, open for business. Sadly, the Web3 Foundation doesn't want to continue. I understand it from the perspective that their stance on OpenGov is changing. They're becoming active themselves. So they might not want to pull in external work. Yeah, so the OpenGov Watch as it was is not needed anymore. And so yeah, I'm looking for new opportunities.
Sounds good. And hey, you're going to be on Koos at 3 tomorrow because we're going to have a little preview talk for a Space Monkeys episode with you on Sunday.
Yeah.
Looking
forward to that.
We actually had a good chance to talk for Space Monkeys, and we did it twice, actually, because we got a little far. Realized I didn't turn one of the cameras on. It's kind of like when I forget to do State of the Treasury, but yeah, it worked out in the end, so that was very cool. Oh, yeah, Funkatron.
Very much looking forward to this Space Monkeys. One of my favorite Space Monkeys ever was an early one where both of you were not doxxed and still had the Chaos DAO apes faces, just with the jaws moving as you guys are talking.
I wonder what we talked about.
Yeah,
I guess we could go back.
I'd have to re-listen to it. I just remember telling both of you guys, and especially you, Tommy, I said you guys should read children's books, like audiobooks for,
Hey, if all else fails, Tommy, maybe we could get in the business of doing that, hey?
Yeah.
All right, that's good. Okay. Hey, let's keep going on for some refs on the go here. OpenSquare opened a new ref on the small spender track to fund State Scan. This for 44,381, and it's a maintenance proposal. It's retroactive, actually, so it's from April to 12, another retroactive proposal here on the small spender track. 0 votes on this so far. And then this is something I've heard about. I recognize the name, but I don't really understand what it's about. This is for Awesome Dot. This is on the small spender track. Still looking for a decision deposit, but this is, oh, it's in collaboration with Just Ventures. Wait, I don't know, Florentina. Yeah, I was hoping you'd have something to say here. What's going on with this?
Yeah, I was reading this proposal a couple days ago when they posted it. So there have been many efforts in the ecosystem for people to create some kind of directory of projects or like databases of projects of the ecosystem, where people can kind of come and consult what exists and what is active and what is not. One of them was the ecosystem map that Just Ventures presented in their last proposal just a couple months ago. Yeah, Otter and Raul at the time. But there are many others, like for example, Polkadot Ecosystem, the site from LV. That is very, very complete. Yeah, he actually commented on this proposal with a very long explanation, talking about why not collaboration, right? Because basically this proposal, what it's saying is that they have a GitHub repository called Awesome Dot, and they want to join that information to the ecosystem map that Just created, and then use some bots to try to make sure that all the information is always up to date and so on, because the biggest challenge is to keep these databases up to date.
Sure, yeah.
So, well, I was surprised too with this proposal, and I do think that it would make sense that if the Treasury has already funded other projects such as polkadotecosystem.com or others, to maybe try to incorporate all of this information, or what do we want to do, or start from scratch? I'm not really sure what is the best approach with the new strategy for the whole ecosystem, but definitely it is something that we need to have some kind of list somewhere of what are the projects that exist and that are actually up to date, and not some of those maps that we see going around sometimes that are from 2 years ago and a bunch of projects that are no longer here.
Yeah, no doubt. So just to clarify on the payments here, there's immediate 31,500 to Awesome Dot, and then an immediate 12,480 to Just, and then payment in 4 months of 31,500 Too awesome. Dot. Tommy, what do you think?
For me, it's a no.
Mhm.
So I like the awesome dot repository. It has been up for quite a while.
Okay.
Like, and it's a GitHub repo. It's basically a very long text file with all the relevant links. Yeah, I think this is valuable.
Yes.
Because if you want to look around, at some point you discover it, and then you can just read through it and scan it. I don't think adding a website on top is adding too much value. Because over like just me screening a text file. Plus, you can just ask ChatGPT and it scrapes the web for you and it presents the results to you. So there is value in curated lists, but I think it doesn't exceed what you have in the text file that you have on GitHub. So, and then 70,000, I think, is too much for this. So from me, it would be an A. I would support the retroactive funding for the GitHub repo because I think that is very useful.
Okay, yeah, Florentina.
Yeah, I was just thinking of what Tommy was saying, and I was just wondering, like, do we want some kind of centralized place like the Polkadot.com website, for example? What is the real use of this website, and shouldn't this be maybe the place where people can find this kind of information? And is it even possible to include this kind of information in there? I understand that it's quite challenging to make any change to that website at the moment. So that's like another question that I have. Like, do we want to centralize some information for new people that are going to be arriving to build on Polkadot to better understand? Because it's, for us, most of us that are on this call, okay, we understand the ecosystem. We know more or less which teams exist. We know how to reach out to people. But somebody that just arrives is very lost, in my opinion. So this might be a resource that we do need, in my opinion. But is this the way to achieve it, the one that is in this proposal? I would agree with Tommy that maybe this is not the best approach.
Yeah, looking at the budget here, yeah, I would just look at the budget here as well. It seems yeah, okay, all right. Fair enough, everybody. Thanks for the feedback. That's for Awesome Dot on Small Spender. 3 big payouts there for development of the list on the back end, and then development of a brand new website as well. Oh, by the way, did you guys see that Polkadot.com has a little bit of a refreshed look? I'll throw that up on the screen right here. Nice. Looking very good here. I think Polkadot.com is going to be one of those 3 access points for the Polkadot portal. And also, if you dig in here, I can't find the link right now. Let me see if I can find it somewhere else. But you can actually sign up for early access to the mobile version of the portal. I'm going to try to pull that link up in just a sec. I think I have it in another browser here. Maybe I can post that later on in the show when I have a minute. But yeah, looking cool. Okay. Oh, sorry, Funkatron. Yeah.
I like the old one better only because my wife was on it. Not gonna lie. She was in the old video clip that was on the previous comp because of there was the video and it had like Yuli K and some others, like it was some of the ladies at Decoded and Brussels last year that was featured on there. So yeah, a little biased,
Okay.
but it looks great. It looks great.
Wish for change. Putting Funky's wife back on. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Okay. Here's another strange thing happening in OpenGov. On the small spender track, an anonymous account, IQKQ, is somehow, I don't know what. Okay, let's just check the metadata here. Or let's check the call, sorry. Yeah, link to Bounty 69. What is Bounty 69? I mean, what an opportunity here. What did they do with it? Bounty 69 is titled Polkadot to the public, and that's it. This was put up.
And it's the requested value is 2,000 DOT.
2,000 DOT to Polkadot to the public, a bounty that was set up on September 2nd. We do have some feedback from an anonymous account here, just boo. I don't know if that's an early Halloween thing or expressing displeasure in this this bounty here, but yeah, no idea what's going on here. Okay. Dumbfounded. And other than that, oh, the Hungarian DAO one. I think this is doing a little bit better, 38.4%. Victor, Spectre, did you want to say anything about this or Any progress on this proposal here? About a week left.
Yeah, not much progress so far.
Hmm.
We're hoping that Lonexus and Permanence DAO is going to move for an eye from the abstain position. Also reached out to ReDAO to get on a call, and there's no reply. We could only get them on a XDM, but there was no reply. They may not have open office hours like some of the DVs, but we couldn't get in touch with them. So if they watch this, we would like to speak. If available, but yeah, not much change so far.
Okay, thanks for the update. By the way, I just posted the link to sign up to the Polkadot app here. Polkadot.com/app is where you can find that. Okay, still on the small spender track, Treasury Guardian. No change here. Still 6.7% support of this fourth or fifth attempt. And then on the tipper tracks, we have Jan, who is for a while running the AAG in Portuguese. That was a very cool experiment. He's looking for just shy of 10,000 USDT for KitDot development funding. Florentina. Okay, Tommy, what is KitDot?
I want to speak highly in favor of this proposal.
Okay,
and
cool.
I'm shocked that it is not like winning with Flex.
What?
Why?
Okay.
So last week was the first time in my life I tried out Solidity.
Yeah.
Did a live stream, short live stream, just like being exposed to the very first time and trying everything out in Polkadot.
Yeah, that was cool.
Was an occasion experience. I deployed something on Paseo. So someone commented on my live stream, I think it was John from Brazil, and said, hey, you should try out KitDot.
Yeah.
Right. So I hop in, I try out KitDot, and it's very simplistic and it's super helpful for me as a beginner, because it's sort of this combination of like the infrastructure for building smart contracts at the lower levels, and then it just puts a front end on top that you have like this basic development boilerplate that you can start off.
Cool.
It has some instructions for coding agents. It has support for like this X for 2 payments, and then there is a little bit of a knowledge base attached, right? So it's a really nice starting point for a guy like me who has no clue about the domain and just wants to get started, and is a little bit overwhelmed with all the options that you have, right? I mean, it's not a ton of options, but it's still quite a few. Trying out all the options that I have in Polkadot right now to get started with smart contracts would take me like 5 or 10 hours. So KitDot is a very nice starting point to get started here. That's my personal experience. So I wanna like start building out from there. I think $10,000 is a fair amount. I would say it's on the higher level of what I would say is acceptable. I wouldn't like. I mean, you can try to push the price down to maybe $5,000, but I think $10,000 is fair. And then I saw some of the counter arguments which I found not very convincing. Like Sachsenberg was arguing that you should go to the bounties first, but there is no bounty that would be responsible for that, because fast grants is for fast grants, and open source is you make a deal with them in advance, right? And they are asking for retroactive funding, so no bounty applies. And then the other argument, I lost the tab, was, yeah, so Lenexus was saying, yeah, but like anyone could do this in a like short amount of time, but not everyone is doing it, right? These people, like Jan was building KitDot, he actually did the stuff and it's useful. And then I think they posted some stats in the proposal that you can see that it was used by, I don't know, I think like 200 people or so tried it during 200 contracts deployed, 44 working projects. So that means like maybe 40 people used it during the Polkadot Builder Party, I believe, like Latin hack, not Polkadot Builder Party, Latin hack. Yeah. So I think if you like build some kind of SDK in Polkadot and it already has that effect, to me it's worth the $10,000. Like, and if it's just a token of appreciation that you're building cool stuff for Polkadot.
Cool. Okay, Florentina, you're in Lenexus. What do you think about this?
Hi, yes. Yeah, I was going to talk about this, but Tommy spoke about it before, no problem. So first of all, I'm going to say my personal opinion as Florentina, not as a member of Lenexus, but just as me.
Yeah.
I agree with Tommy that this is really, really cool. to actually help and make it easier for developers to start doing things in Polkadot. So I really appreciate Jan's efforts on that side to try to, he's really focused on onboarding more Web2 developers and more Solidity developers.
That's right.
So I think that's great. Now on Lenexus feedback, yes, I mean, of course, we are many members at Lenexus, and we had many discussions about this proposal. Not everybody agrees with me inside of Lenexus, and some of the voting members of Lenexus who are actual developers are the ones who have this appreciation of how long they think it would take to code something like this. So what we were mentioning is that some members believe that this is simply compiling 3 different tools in one package, so that they don't really see how this can be a real added value. So I think that's just basically one of the arguments. And the other question we had was regarding the GitHub commits and the fact that they were mostly spaced out through 2 weeks instead of the 3 months. But I did see that Jan has added some information about that in the communication with us. So we will be reviewing this again, and we will see if the voting pool of Lenexus decides to change the vote or not, if some people change or not. But for now, that is indeed our feedback for him, and he's aware of it. We're in communication with him.
Okay, well, this, because it's on the tipper track, this decision period is super truncated. Less than a day left here. We'll have to see if he can figure something out and come back. But vouch of confidence for Jan, who's very, like Tommy said, very committed to educating and onboarding people. He's was partners with Daniel Cukier, who we've had on Space Monkeys. They've worked really hard together to bring in the Portuguese community into Polkadot. So yeah, hopefully we can work out something here, and definitely keep Jan in the ecosystem working for Polkadot. Okay, final ref on the go this week. This is by Simon on the big tipper track, looking for a dot tip for him and Angie. We spoke about this before, actually. I think Angie came through and put up a tip for herself for this Polkadot Tech for Enterprises live events thing, the Space for Build project from the Events Bounty. Events Bounty sent an email to them saying that they don't fund retroactive proposals, which is why they're coming here to the Treasury for this small tip of DOT. Yeah, we'll have to see how this goes. But right now we have 5 votes and less than 5,000 DOT in play. And really don't know how this is going to turn out, but we'll know by this time next week. Any comment on this? Nope. Fair enough. Then we just go to refs that are confirming right now. Posted by Otar from Just Ventures. Passio developer testnet, second top-up request for that bounty, 113.22 thousand DOT. This has passed, or this is about to confirm with 100% support. Yes, Spectra.
Yeah, so the Polkadot Tech for Enterprises,
Right.
as far as I can tell, it's about 500 DOT and not 5,000. So
Did I say
it's about $1,000 and not 10,000. Yes.
I said
It's
5,000 DOT.
418 DOT and 135 DOT.
That's right. I'm so sorry for misspeaking there. That's right. So
it's only $1,000, not 10,000. So yeah.
Right. Oh, this could be on the small tipper. Or maybe not. I don't know.
Hopefully yeah, and it's for some reason it's on the big tipper, but yeah. The request is 550 DOT. So yeah.
All right. Hey, quick look over on Kusama OpenGov this week. We have no active refs on Kusama right now. No active refs on Kusama. Is that true? No, that can't be true. We're just looking at the wrong page. We do have active refs on Kusama. Robonomics has something on the whitelisted caller track. No context here. Let's dig in real quick and just take a quick look. Don't want to forget about Kusama. On November 25th, Robonomics parachain on Kusama stopped producing blocks following major runtime and node upgrade to 4.0. The upgrade was intended to transition the parachain consensus from Open Collator to Aura. During the upgrade, temporary Aura authorities were expected to be set on the unruntime migration block. Okay. Proposed solution. While this proposal is being voted on, the Robonomics team will prepare an updated runtime WASM that resolves the issue. The requests respectfully ask Kusama Governance and the Polkadot Fellowship to approve unlocking the Robonomics parachain so that full functionality can be restored. Okay. Hopefully that all gets resolved very quickly. And then otherwise, the decent partner refs, there's 4 of them, 4 wish for changes from decent partners. None of them have decision deposits, and all of them have 100% nays. That's it on Kusama. Okay, hey, anything else we want to talk about on our weekly Attempts at Governance show? Kind of nice to just go back down to 1 Attempts at Governance a week. So I miss you guys. I get a chance to miss you guys. Then we get a chance to come back together. Anything else we want to say before we head out? No? Well, it's a cool 1-hour show. I want to thank you all for being here and everybody in the chat for being here as well. Looking forward to the second age of Polkadot and a happy new year. Don't worry, we'll be back for a few more attempts at governance. Let me check the calendar real quick. We have next week. Oh, our final attempts at governance will be next week on the 18th. The following Thursday will be Christmas. We'll be taking a few weeks off there. So last attempts at governance, episode 290 next Thursday at 3 p.m. UTC. We'll see you all there. Until then, have a great week, everybody.